Shalom, 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 shalom. So I'm Rapha'Yah. We are going to go ahead and start in this amazing Torah portion. These Torah portions, it's Yitro. Yitro happens to be it has so many names. One of them is Ro'il, and happens to be the father-in-law of Moshe. Moshe went through a lot of things before he got to meet Yitro. You heard of him? Yitro knew Moshe, knew the custom of Egypt. And we are going to talk about little things like that to the point where we get to the mountain Sinai to receive the 10 words. But before we get into that, I do want to invite you to, if you have not subscribed, please do so you can get the latest production that we are always working. And by the way, we are coming out with a new album at the end of the month, and there is more to come. So there is a lot of productions, music, and so forth. Please stay tuned because there are so many things coming up. Let's concentrate on this Torah portion, Yitro. This Torah portion is amazing because here we find out how the Creator is amazing, giving the 10 words, which is derive the 613 mitzvot or commandments of Yahweh, which is encoded the whole Torah of the Creator. So let's jump into it. Yitro, for a fact, he knew the customs, as I stated earlier, of Egypt. Egypt, what happens to be a kingdom that had many things going. Moshe, born in Egypt, raised almost as a pharaoh, to the point where he rejected that position to follow the directions of Yahweh Sebaot. Now let's jump into it. Chapter 18 all the way to chapter 20, verse 23, those two chapters that we are going to see today, but there's so much to see, and that's where we're going to concentrate. Ole 1 says, Yitro the Kohen of Miriam, Moshe's father-in-law, heard everything he had to say, you all might have done for Moshe and for Israel his people, as Yahweh had brought Israel out of Mizraim. All this in this very verse, see how Yitro, first of all, he happens to be one of the priests of that land of Midian. The question is, who did he serve? Absolutely or definitely was not Yahweh. It was somebody else. It was idols that he worshiped. And that's why one of the reasons that he made a statement about Yahweh is everything that I think of a creator could be. And the reason for it is because he knew about the creator. He knew about the creator of the Israelites. He knew about Yaakov. He knew about Moshe. He knew about Abraham. He knew about Yitzhak. Now, the reason for I say all this is because we'll see a few things here and there. Chapter 18, verse 10, Yitro said, Blessed be Yahweh who has rescued you from the Egyptians and Pharaoh, who has saved the people from heavy hands of the Egyptians. Now I know, you see that now I realize that Yahweh is greater than all the other Elohims, demons, deities, because he rescued those who were treated so arrogantly. Who is speaking here? Speaking Yitro, Ro'il. Is making a statement, making Moshe know that he knew how Yahweh was great. Now he realized, because he heard everything what Yahweh has done. And remember that it wasn't just Yitro. It was the peoples around Egypt. It was the tribes around Egypt. Many regions around in Canaan, in the other parts of Assyria, the Middle Eastern knew everything about Egypt and what Yahweh has brought to them, which is chaos. And exactly Ruel or Yitro realized what Yahweh has done for Israel, deliver them from bondage. Now he realized that he's greater than all the demons, all the idols that they worship. Himself, do you know that there is a lexicon, and it's called the Dictionary of Demons and Deities? Please look it up in there, and you will see that it states very clear that Yitro worship El and Elohim. It's not Yahweh, it's Elohim. Els are demons that he worship. But now he realized that Yahweh is the only one that needs to be worshipped, and that's what it's all about. Look at what Targum Jonathan says of this verse. Yitro, the father-in-law Moshe, took Sephora, his wife, whom Moshe has sent back after he has gone to Egypt. And there is a secret here that we might want to know about, because we read the Torah, we read the scriptures, we read the Old Testament as they stated outside, and we find out that Moshe took his wife to Egypt, but after that he's gone to Egypt, she disappears from the map. What happened to her? The entire year that he was delivering the sons of Israel, where was his wife and his two sons? And the reason for it is because he sent them back, and there is a reason why he sent them back. But before that, I want to show you that his brother Aaron, he met them and he said, you can't bring them here. You cannot bring them to this land of Egypt because they will not last. First of all, we are in bondage. Second, they might be endangered because Pharaoh might kill them. And third, is better if they're back home, where they will be way much safer, and that's one of the reasons why they go back to the father, Ruel, Yitro. Now let me show you something that happened later when Moshe is born. Look what happens there. Yasher, the book of Yasher 67 verse 11, and in the year 130 year since Israel went down to Egypt, Pharaoh dreamed. What did he dream? He dreamed of the future Redeemer, the future Mashiach, which happens to be Moshe. It was 130, so you do the math. Our fathers were in Egypt in 210 years. If you minus 130, or actually 210 minus 130 gives you the total of 80. 80 is the year of Moshe when he delivered the children of Israel from the bondage of Egypt. That means that he was born in the year 130 when of the stain of the people, our forefathers in Egypt. So it is very simple math. And you can actually read it in 67 verse 11 and keep reading. You'll find out that Pharaoh is being given the advice to kill all the firstborns. And exactly what he does. He throws them on the river Nile. And Moshe found out later who gave that advice, and he happens to be Bilam. That's one of the reasons he wanted to kill him so bad, because he knew that he wanted to murder him since he was a baby. That secret was revealed later when he was an adult. Now look at what it says, book of Yasher 79 verse 15. What I said earlier, Aaron said to Moshe, send to the woman and the children to that they go to the house of his father. Moshe heard Aaron's words, and he did. Sephora returned and he's with his children went down to Ruel's or Yitro's house, and they stayed there until now, until the time that Yahweh delivered there from bondage. Do you see that? That's one of the reasons, and the reason why is what I stated earlier. Now, let's continue a little bit more. 67 verse 11, it says very clear that our fathers were there for 210 years. But I want to show you something very, very important. Look at what it says, start going Jonathan 18 verse 11 of the book of Exodus or Shemot. Now I know that Yahweh is stronger than all Elohim, because of the same thing which the evil Mizraim or Egyptians would have punished Israel, drowning them in the sea. The punishment came upon them, being punished in the sea as well. So that's one of the reasons why Yahweh never, ever, ever forgets. Yahweh always remember what the nations do to us, to our forefathers. And that's one of the reasons why Yahweh always remember. Remember, that doesn't matter if it's 100 years. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years. It doesn't matter if it's 50 years. Yahweh always going to remember, and that is the reason why he punished them into the ocean, because they did the same thing with the firstborns. So Yahweh did the same thing with them. You see that? Look at what it says here. And I want to show you something very, very important. Let's continue a little bit more, and let me show you what Yahweh says in Isaiah 46 verse 9. Take into account what happened in ancient times. For I am Yahweh, Ayil Almighty, and there is no other Ayil Almighty. There is no one like me, Yahweh says. I predict the end from the Mereshit, from the beginning, and in advance things that have not occurred. I said, my plan will be fulfilled, and I will do all that I have proposed. This is one of the reasons why Yahweh always plans everything out. Always plans out exactly as Yahweh said it will happen. And one of the things that Yahweh says here in Isaiah is that he tells everything was going to happen in the future from the very beginning, and that's what we want to find out. There is a secret in the third day. We always hear about the third day here and there, but look at what happens here. When Mashiach came in the first century, the first event after the fourth millennium came the fifth millennium. Happens to be the first day. The second day is we are in the very end of the second day. The third day will come, and that's where Shabuot came. Happens to be where Yahweh came down and contracted the heavens and earth, and he gave the 10 words. Here, Yahweh contracted, and there was a shofar. That's exactly the second advent, the second coming of Mashiach. Everything is foretold from the very beginning. Look what it says here, 19 verse 10 of the Exodus. So Yahweh said to Moshe, go to the people today and tomorrow, the first day, second day, set them apart from me, having them wash their clothes. In other words, purify them. Do the tevilah, do the immersion. Purify themselves for 2 days. And it's exactly what's been going on for almost nearly 2,000 years. From the beginning, from the first century when Mashiach came, after that, the purification has begun. We are at the very end, and let me switch here so you can see me. We are at the very end of the second day. We are very, very near the second day, and the third day is coming. It's the same thing. Yahweh said, purify them for 2 days, because on the third day I will come down. Let me show you the rest. 19 verse 11, prepare for the third day, because on the third day Yahweh would descend on Mount Sinai before the eyes of all people. And it's exactly when Mashiach will come on the third day from the time that he came first, in the first advent. 1916, on the morning of the third day, there was thunders, lightning, and a thick cloud over the mountain. Then the shofar sounded so loudly that all the people in the camp trembled. And it's exactly when Mashiach will come with a great shofar. We're not making this up. It is there in front of us. Matthew 24:31. He will send his messengers with a shofar, with a great voice to gather his elect from the four winds of the Shemayim, from one end to the Shemayim to the other. In other words, this is going to be a great day that everyone who's alive will experience. Whether we like it or not, this day will come. And it happens to be the third day. Look at what 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the Master himself will descend from the Shemayim with a loud shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the shofar. Do you see that? As the shofar sounded over there in Mount Sinai, it will be the same thing here. The shofar of Yahweh, who's have died, united with the Mashiach, will be first to rise. In other words, it will be the first resurrection. This will be the Tekiah Gadol. The Tekiah Gadol happens to be where it will be a great day that everyone will witness, whether we like it or not, whether we hide. We cannot hide from the Creator. The Creator himself said with the prophet, and even if you hide under the rock, even if you hide into a star, in other words, outside the galaxy, I will get you there. Do not worry. I will get you. Whenever you are, I will get you. And exactly what's going to happen. Our Creator does not lie. He fulfills everything that is being told from the very, very beginning of creation. And that's what, like I said, all this is what we need to be aware. And because of that, let me show you the next. 19 verse 8, Moshe tells the people what they need to hear. And the whole people responded as one. All that Yahweh has said, we will do. Moshe, of course, reported the words to the people, to Yahweh. What they said, all that Yahweh has said will do, is this. Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh. Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh. Which means all that Yahweh has said, we will do. Everything that has happened, we should be doing the same thing. Everything that Yahweh has stated in his Torah, we shouldn't question. We should just do what Yahweh has commanded from the very beginning, especially with the words of Mashiach. We shouldn't question things like that, especially coming down from the mouth of Mashiach or coming from the mouth of Yahweh. All these things is for our own good. The problem is that we ask so many questions. If there is going to be a 401k, if there is going to be a insurance or life insurance, is going to be dentist. We ask so many 20 questions. Like if we are the FBI, we're not. And we shouldn't be asking questions like this, but rather, Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh. All that Yahweh have said, we will do. These tablets that Yahweh has given us, this agreement, this covenant that Yahweh has made to all of us, is for our own good, so we can live a better life, so we can have a meaningful life. And once again, all that is for our own good. So look at what it says, 19 verse 16. In the morning on the third day, there was a great thunder, lightning, and a thick cloud over the mountain. Then the shofar sounded so loud that all the people camp trembled. Exactly when Mashiach will come down on the third day. It will be a very dark day, but it's a good day for those who are keeping Torah. Our fathers received the 10 words because they wanted to have these 10 words. because they were in agreement with Yahweh. We should be doing the same thing. Let me show you something real important, okay? Moshe, 32 verse 15, we will close here. Moshe turned and descended from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand. Tablets inscribed on both sides, front and back. What does it mean to be front and back inscribed? 32:16, there were the tablets were the work of Yahweh. The writings was the writing of Yahweh engraved on the tablets. How did it work? Or what was it that Yahweh gave them? Look what it says, 24:10 of Exodus. And they saw a ye Almighty of Israel. Beneath their feet there was something like a transparency of sapphire, as clear as the Shema in heavens. That means that this is what they saw in their floor, on the ground. And it's exactly what Yahweh made the tablets look like. They were this color. They were the color of sapphire, inscribed from the front and inscribed in the back, which means when Yahweh was engraving the first word, I am Yahweh, your Almighty, in the back he was writing number 6, number 6 pronunciation, which you should not murder, and so forth. In other words, all the first tablet has 10 words. In the front you have 5 in the third, and the back has had exactly the other 5, and so forth. The other side had the same thing. So that means there was a duplicate of one another. This was a duplicate of one another, because if you flip it back, it turns to the same thing. The word for shenayin or shetayin, which means a duplicated, and is exactly what was the custom in the land of Canaan. When you made an agreement with another person, the other person made a covenant with you. They put this in stone, and that stone they made a duplicate, and they gave it to you. In other words, Yahweh was doing the same thing with us. It is doing the same thing with us. It's like when you're purchasing something. You are the buyer, and there is a vendor. The vendor and the buyer, and both get a receipt. When you go to the restaurant, when you go to the market, when you go to the store, and you purchase something, what do they give you in return? That it is an evidence that you purchased that. Just in case something goes wrong, you bring that receipt, right? That receipt is telling you that you made an agreement with them to purchase something. Same thing with the 10 words. The 10 words, the ketunah is the marriage agreement that Yahweh made with our forefathers, was that if you do this, I will do this. This duplicated these 2 tablets. Today, one goes for Ephraim, the northern kingdom, and one goes to Judah, the house of Judah, the southern kingdom. We both have the 10 words. We both have a duplicated, and we shouldn't spoil it. We shouldn't break it. We should follow it. We should say it exactly as Yahweh stated. What did they state earlier? Remember? All that Yahweh have stated, Kol asher diber Yahweh na'aseh. All that Yahweh have said, we will do. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. We'll see you next time. Please subscribe if you have not done so. And we'll see you next Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
For more content in production, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. Thank you. We'll begin.
Toda Rabba. If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel.